Hi, and welcome to session 1. Today we're going to be focusing on foundations, hands and feet, and learning a few basic yoga postures. So we'll start seated, coming to sit cross-legged on your mat. If it feels a little uncomfortable sitting down low, you could sit up on a cushion or two or on a yoga block or foam. And if you're struggling with crossed legs because of the knees, you can sit in a butterfly pose, so soles of the feet together. Okay, but otherwise, cross your legs right in front of left. We will just arrive at the practice. So palms down, loop the shoulders down, and then close your eyes. Start to deepen the breath. And so one of the main things that separates yoga on our mats from other activities is the breath work, is the connection to breath that is required for this practice. We want a long, slow, deep breath. And take a couple more breaths here as you just settle into your body, settle into the space. If you'd like to set an intention for your practice or for the next couple of weeks ahead, then set that intention now. And perhaps your intention is to remain committed to these sessions, to remain committed to returning to your mat. Maybe your intention is to be more kind to yourself. Whatever it is, just repeat that to yourself one more time. And when you're ready, you can open the eyes. All right, so we'll start by moving around the neck and shoulders. Curling your chin down to your chest. Roll your right ear to your right shoulder and then just pause here for a moment. Draw the left shoulder down and you should feel a nice opening through the left side of the neck. And then we'll roll chin down to center. Take left ear to left shoulder. So starting very slow in the practice today and just feeling out how our body's doing, where we're holding that extra tension, and then trying to relieve some of that throughout the movements today. Bring the chin back down to chest. Again, you can go right ear to right shoulder, but this time, if it's appropriate for you, you can take the head all the way around and back, do a full circle. Otherwise, you can just do side to side. Pause, chin to center, and then switch left ear to left shoulder. Take the head all the way around, so we're just warming up and connecting. Bring the head all the way up. Reach both arms up, lift tall, and then take an easy forward fold. So hands in front of you, you can curl your chin in. You can take your hands a little further, creep them further. Perhaps your elbows meet the mat. From there, release the head down. And let's just take 3 full breaths here. So you should feel a sensation in the outer hips. Some nice lengthening of the spine forward. Guide your breath into the back of the lungs, into the sides of the lungs, and into that space between rib cage and hip. Use your hands to bring you all the way up. Change the cross of the legs. If you're in butterfly pose, you can simply stay there. Adding a little bit more movement to the upper body. Reach the arms up. We'll move into a lateral stretch. So right hand down. You could be on your fingertips. You could be on the palm. Left palm is facing down. I want you to take that arm up and over. Let the shoulder blade glide across. And you can start to bend into that right elbow. But what I want you to really feel here is that you're not falling over to your right. So you're pressing into this right hand. Ground your left sit bone. Take that top arm across, get in underneath the armpit, the side of the rib cage. And then throughout the practice, You don't want to be adding any extra tension to the neck, to the jaw, to the shoulders. So if you need to look down, you can look down. It might feel good to look forward or up, but don't force it around the neck area. One more breath. Nice, come all the way back up to center. And then as you sit here for a moment, I want you just to notice how you feel. So the left side might actually feel a little longer, a little more expansive. If you reach your arms up, it's almost like your left fingertips can reach a little higher now. So let's switch sides to balance that out. Left fingertips or palm, right palm, so top palm facing down, even a little backwards, but that movement comes from an external rotation of the shoulder so that the shoulder blade can glide across. Press left hand into the floor, press your right buttocks down, reach over, arc the spine. So lateral movement, lateral flexion of the spine is one of the directions in which our spine moves, is arcing over side to side. Let's take 2 more breaths here. And then you'll come all the way up, reach the arms up. We'll take a twist. So start to twist to your right. Keep your spine up tall, twist a little more. Then bring your left hand across to your right knee and your right fingertips behind you to the middle of your spine. Press into your right hand and lift the chest up. Then again, if it feels appropriate in the neck, you can start to rotate to look to your right. Twist a little deeper. Don't forget to breathe. Relax through the hips and make sure you're not pulling your knees up. In fact, this left hand can help to keep that right knee down. Take 2 more breaths. And look forward. And then unravel. All right, reach both arms up. And then I just want you to wiggle a little side to side. So drawing your arms up and down. So just staying in that forward-facing shape before we take the twist on the second side. So just bend the arms, reach them up, take a few little stretches here, and then we'll meet in center. Start to twist to your left. Twisting, 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 twisting. And when you've reached your kind of natural range of motion, the furthest you can go, you'll bring your right hand to your left knee. Remember, you're not pulling it up. In fact, you can push it down. Bring your left hand as far behind you as possible. Press into your left fingertips, lift the chest, and look all the way to the left. Notice the effect of the twist when you look to your left. Intensifies the whole twist down to the lower back. Deepen your breath. Take 2 more rounds of breath. And look forward, unravel. Reach both arms up. We'll move back into that little forward fold. So bring the hands down. Try walk them maybe a little further than that first round. Perhaps your elbows come down to the mat, but I want everyone to curl the chin in, relax the head down. Soften the hips. Let's take 3 full breaths here. You can use your hands to walk yourself back up. Well done. All right, so for a moment, I want you to have a look at your hands. Spread your hands out in front of you and have a look at your palms. So when we're putting weight on our hands, we want to make sure that our hands aren't clenched together and that we're not lifting up and kind of cupping the hands. You want your hands to be flat and expanded. You want the 4 corners of the palm. So you've got 2 corners at the heel of the hand and then 2 corners at the front of the hand. You want all 4 corners of the palm of the hand to be connected to the ground, as well as your fingerprints. All right, we do this so that it becomes the stability. It's the base for protecting the wrist joint especially, but also when we're putting a lot of weight on our hand, it needs to be distributed. Otherwise, what often ends up happening is that we end up dumping into the back of the hand, which dumps into the wrist, which causes wrist pain. All right, so before we get on our wrists, bring your hands into fists and let's just warm the wrists up a little more. So just making a few little circles in one direction and then changing. So something to keep in mind is that most of our day, whether it's driving, whether it's working on a computer, whether it's on your phone, whether it's, holding most things, holding your shopping, holding your child, is that our wrists are flexed. So you can imagine you're holding your steering wheel, you're making food, you're carrying something, you're moving something. It's all closing in on the inside of the wrist. Now we're going to open up into extension of that wrist joint, and your wrist might not be used to that. So it can take a little bit of time, if you're new to these practices, to open up the fascia of the hands. And that's kind of the sheath that runs over and across and through the entire body. Well done. Let's make our way onto all fours. Knees under hips into our tabletop position. Spread through your palms, spread your fingers, and press all your fingerprints into the mat. So you're pressing them into the mat so hard that it's almost like the tips of the fingers become a little lighter, and you might even see the knuckles leave the mat. Have a look at your hands if you're not. Press down through that fleshy part between thumb and index finger. So notice how that wants to lift. Make sure you're not rolling onto the outer edges of your hands. Bring your weight forward. So we'll move through an exercise called cat-cow. We've moved lateral flexion of the spine side to side, and now we'll move extension and flexion of the spine. So moving into our cat pose first, you're going to lift the belly up and you're rounding into a C shape. So tuck your tailbone down and tuck your chin in. Press the tops of the feet into the mat. Press your hands so firmly into the mat that it feels like you're trying to press yourself away from the floor. Feel the shoulder blades glide away from one another. Suck the belly in, full flexion. Such a nice stretch. And then release back to neutral. And then we'll go into our extension. So that's our lengthening. Wrap your outer shoulders back. So if you look at the eye of the elbow, the crease of the elbow, they're facing the opposite corners of the front of the mat. Those of you hypermobile in your joints, make sure that you're giving a little micro bend so that you're not locking out into that elbow joint. Cow pose, you're going to tuck your toes under. Lift the sit bones, so pelvis tilting forward. Slide the shoulder blades down the back body and curl your ears back, open your throat. Full extension now. Remember not to hold your breath. Stretch open underneath the throat, underneath the belly. And then we'll come back to center. Neutral spine. So we're going to add breath to movement now. With this, I want you to try to breathe first and then move, so that the breath becomes an invitation to the body to move, and that the breath isn't trying to keep up with your movements, but rather that the breath opens up space, but also takes us deeper in our shapes. We'll start with our cow pose. So that's our extension, was the second shape. Tuck your toes, inhale, lift the sit bones, curl the ears back. Start to exhale, and as you do, curl and round, tuck your chin in. We're going to keep going, doing 4 rounds. Inhale, inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. 2 more. Indulge in the movement. If you like, you can close your eyes. Last round. Curl around to a neutral spine. Well done. We'll take a child's pose variation now. So we're going to bring our big toes to touch. Take your knees wide apart and start to bring your buttocks towards your heels. So go as far as you can. This is really great for opening the tops of the ankles. It's really nice for digestion and finding spinal alignment. Excuse me. Take your hands forward. Some of you might be here. You might not go down very far. Okay, but otherwise, you can just sit heavier and heavier and heavier. Some of you might allow the buttocks to reach the heels. Maybe the forehead touches the mat. Take your hands a little wider than shoulder distance. Elbows are off the mat, so active pose. Press into the hands. So you press the buttocks down. And then just feel a nice opening through the inner groins, across the glutes, the front of the ankles. Don't worry if you're not going all the way down. You could be a little bit higher up. You're still feeling that lengthening of the spine. Try press your feet down. Roll the outer shoulders down. Well done. Take 2 more breaths here. And then we'll meet back on all fours, tabletop. All right, so setting up for our downward facing dog. Again, your hands are about shoulder distance. If you've got really tight shoulders or really big shoulders, it might feel more comfortable to take your hands a little wider. Again, the elbows of the arms are pretty much facing the corners of the mats. Creases of the wrist are almost parallel to the front of the mat, but if your fingertips are turned slightly out for more space in the shoulders, the crease of the line might be a little diagonal. So just feeling this out in our first round, I want you to tuck your toes. Bring your shoulders above your wrists. Lift the lower belly, and we're just going to hover. So you're going to press into your hands, hover the knees. Switch on the core, feel the legs switch on. Keep your knees at 90 degrees. Press your hips up and back, lengthen the arms. So now we're in a super bent knee downward dog. And why I want you to feel this is how you want your spine. You want your spine long from the tailbone to the crown of the head. Not all of us have long back lines. Most of us have quite tight hamstrings, calf muscles, or Achilles. So finding the full straightening of the legs comes with time, but the spine is always the priority. Hold 1 more breath, relax your head. Well done. And then from here, we're actually going to look forward. You're going to walk your feet to the top of the mat. So you could walk 1 step and then a second step, or you could kind of just make your way to the top of your mat. Let's bring our feet to be hip distance. Let's all meet in a halfway lift. So hands to shins. Bend your knees if you need to get your spine nice and long. Some of you might straighten out the legs, see how it feels. Lift the shoulder caps away from the floor, lift the lower belly. And then we're going to release into a forward fold. So here, reach for your opposite elbows, curl your chin in, and just allow the spine to drip down. So using the weight of the head and the arms to traction the spine a little more. And then while you're hanging upside down here, I want you to have a look at your feet. So remembering the foundation of the hands, the spreading of the weight throughout the palm, that's the same we want to do through our feet. So for a lot of us, it becomes habit to roll onto the outer edges of our feet. What I want you to do is press down, especially through the big toe mound of the foot. So the ball of the foot, the inner part of the ball of the foot. Lift and spread all 10 toes and see if you can get a little gap between each of your toes now. And then while you're spreading your toes, look at how that wakes up your whole foot. Feel how it wakes up the ankle joints. And that brings a sensation and awareness all the way up through the ankles, the shins, the calf muscles. I feel it up to my knees. My thighs are active, lower belly drawing up. It activates the whole leg. Again, your foundation to hold and support the body above the foot. Relax your toes down. Relax the arms down. Preparing for a spinal roll, bend your knees a lot. Okay? Press your feet into the floor. So when you press your feet, feel how you start to lift away from the floor. Knees stay bent, arms and head stay heavy. You're going to roll up one vertebra at a time, shoulders and head last. And loop the shoulders. Well done. All right. So keep in mind that foundation of the feet. We'll move through a little sequence again, breath to movement, finding some twisting through the spine. So keeping a pretty firm foundation through the hips. You can allow the hips to move a little as we twist, but try and keep the hips quite steady. All right, so we can get a little deep into the twist. We're going to reach our arms all the way up. Draw your rib cage in, firm through your thighs. And then start to look to your right, open your right arm, take your right arm back and your left arm forward. Squeeze that right hip forward. I hope you're breathing. All right, we'll take right arm down, bring it forward and up. And then we'll take second side, so left arm back, right arm forward, open the left side of the chest. Squeeze left buttock. And then bring both arms up. We'll move that to the breath. So arms to center, inhale. Twist to your right, exhale. In and out through the nose. Back to center, inhale. Twist to your left, exhale. Inhale, center, breathe, then move. 3 more. Exhale, right. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. Inhale, center. Stay with me. 2 more. Exhale, right. So good for the mobility of our shoulders. Inhale, center. To the left. Inhale, center. 1 more each side. And last one. Twist to the left. Come all the way back to center. Reach both arms up. Bend the knees. Take the hips back. Take the chest forward and fold all the way down. Again, bend your knees to get some length in the spine. Reach for your opposite elbows. And if you were aware, if you were being very conscious and precise about your movement, I hope that you remember which forearm was on top in that first forward fold. Now we'll switch to have the second one on top. Close your eyes, curl your chin in, and again, just allow the spine to drip down. If you like it, you can maybe sway a little side to side. Maybe you bend and stretch through the legs, just exploring the shape. Maybe it's the first time you've been in a forward fold. Maybe it's the first time you're getting back to your practice in a while. Just meet the pose. Introduce the body and the brain to what we're doing. And we start to build that muscle memory, that mind-body connection. All right, well done. Come back through to center. Bend the knees. Bend them as much as you need to bring the hands down to the mat. We're going to step back towards our downward dog shape. Okay, so you're going to step left foot and then right foot about one of your own legs lengths backwards. So remember, we're not in a plank pose with the shoulders above the wrists. You're pressing up and back, diagonal line. Take your feet just a little further back so it's a lot longer than that first downward dog shape we were playing with. Have a look at your hands. Spread your palms, press into your fingerprints and bring the weight to the front of the hands. Roll your outer shoulders down to the floor so that the eyes of the elbows start to look a little more forward. And then keep your left knee bent, but start to extend your right heel down to the floor. See if you can get a nice deep stretch into that calf muscle. Lift the lower belly, take 2 full breaths here. Press firmly into the hands, don't push yourself forward, push yourself back. Bend right knee and extend left leg. Left heel to the floor. Nice, bend left knee. Shuffle the feet even further back. Rock into a little plank pose for a moment. Lower the knees. Hug the elbows in and back to the side. Come all the way down onto your belly. Untuck the toes. Nice, coming into our little cobra pose. We're going to take the hands wider of the shoulders and about 2 or 3 hands forward of the shoulders. So cobra variation. I want you to adjust so that the pubic bone is pressing down into the mat. And now we're working to activate our postural muscles. So first round, you're going to lift your head slightly, look forward. But instead of looking all the way forward and shortening the back of the neck, I want you to tuck your chin. So you imagine there's a beautiful arc from the crown of the head to the tailbone. There's no kind of right angles in the spine. I want you to squeeze your thighs, press your pubic bone down, and then lift the arms off the floor. So wake up those postural muscles. Lift up, lift up, lift up, lift up. Strong legs. Don't hold your breath. Lift your arms. Beautiful, and lower. We'll do the same thing. Firm through the body, but this time keep your hands on the floor. Lift up, gently press into the hands. A little bit of support now. If you want to, more of a seal pose, you'll straighten out the arms. Inner thighs rolling up to the ceiling, so press your pubic bone down. Nice. And then slowly lower. Slide your hands either side of your rib cage. Press up onto your knees. Bring your big toes to touch. Separate the knees again for that child's pose. Sit yourself all the way down and back. Slowly roll the spine up and take a loop of the shoulders. All right, you can bring yourself to lie down on your back. And once you come all the way down, you're going to bring your knees to your chest. Give yourself a little squeeze. Keep right thigh to chest. Extend your left leg forward. We'll take a little twist. Right arm out to the side. Roll onto your left hip. Take your right knee over. So you might keep your right foot on left thigh. You might take it down to the floor. What I want you to focus on here is that you keep your right shoulder blade as grounded as you can. You can look up to the ceiling or take the twist in the neck. Look to your right. We'll take 3 full breaths. Close your eyes. And after your 3rd breath, come back to center. Readjust, kind of take a little wiggle. And then right leg forward, left leg into twist. Roll onto your right hip. Left arm out to the side. Left foot can stay on right thigh or the floor. Readjust to get both shoulder blades on the floor. If you look to your right, you'll look to your left now. 3 full breaths. Well done. Come all the way back through to center. Squeeze both knees to chest. You can curl the head up. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And then taking a short shavasana, take your legs out to the side. Take your arms out to the side. Tuck your chin and just become completely still. Allow yourself to fully relax now. Eyes are shut. Body is relaxed. Mind is present. can start to move your fingers and your toes, hands, feet, legs, arms, until you come into a full body stretch. Bend the knees, roll over onto your side. And when you're ready, press yourself all the way up into a seat. Let's bring the hands one and the other across the heart space and just close your eyes for a moment. Notice how you feel now compared to how you felt when you first got on your mat. Bring your intention back into your awareness. And just take a moment of full gratitude for yourself for showing up, for your body that just always does the work that we ask of it and more. And I thank you for joining. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. I hope you enjoyed the session. Looking forward to seeing you in session 2.